What's up guys, my name is Phil. Welcome back to Miranda Detailing. So in today's video, we're working on this beautiful 2017 Corvette Stingray. Really bad. Now, much better. So the service that we're going to be doing on the vehicle is a paint enhancement, a light interior work, not much to do on the interior at all. So it's just going to be a very basic interior, but the owner wants the paint cleared up to a reasonable degree. It is going to be sold, but the paint definitely needs some help. Guys, if you're enjoying videos like this, and I hope you are, consider subscribing and clicking that bell so you don't miss stuff. Let's get started. So first off, let's take a look around, and you can see, well, hopefully you can see, we have some partial sun here between the trees. The paint definitely needs some help. It does have a convertible top, but we're not going to be adding any protection on it, and it really doesn't even need any type of heavy-duty cleaning at all. A few little marks here and there, but you can rinse it down, let it completely dry, and then you can actually vacuum this since it is fabric. And if there is any lint or anything like that, again, the vacuum is going to clean all of that up. We definitely have some heavy-duty swirls to contend with. Let's see if we can focus in on them. There we go. Yeah, pretty bad. And some other weird marks all over the place. Once we get it washed and deconned, we'll pull it in and we'll show you what we're working with here. The front bumper was repainted. It was in a little minor accident with a deer, and you can kind of see the holograms in there. You'll see it worse once we pulled inside under all the lights. Yep, you can see some holograms right there. Wheels and tires, not bad at all. Wheels will clean up great. Tires will be scrubbed down. More swirls in the paint that you can see here. Some heavy marks. So we're gonna shoot for 50% or more swirl removal. All sorts of gunk down at the bottom here. So let's get to washing it, deconning it. We are going to do our APC rinse. We're going to use Kosh Chemi Green Star for our APC, and then we will foam it down, wash it, clay bar it, clay mitt it as necessary, and then dry it and pull it in. So the owner actually brought this in a day early, so we're going to be working on the polishing and everything else tomorrow. But I want to get at least prepped and ready to go, and I want the top here to be dried out completely because I will be putting the top down to get to the painted areas in here. So I want the top completely dry before we do that. And just to show you the interior, it really is not bad at all. Leather will be vacuumed and conditioned, and that's the extent of the vacuuming. Not much at all. Just dusty, so that will be cleaned up and conditioned. So we're really going to be prepping this to be sold. So the paint is feeling nice and smooth. Great. Now there's a couple different methods that you can choose depending on your services, depending on what you're charging your customer, and personal choice. The way that we usually detail our vehicles, the whole pre-wash and foaming method and all of that is kind of one that I have mixed and matched throughout the years, kind of mixing and matching a couple of different techniques and methods from a bunch of different detailers, from Alan Medcraft from AM Details, Larry Cosella's method of actually using the soap as a clay. We do that. We use the clay mitt. Not a lot of guys use the clay mitt in that way, but we found it to be very effective and efficient. Now, is it going to mar the paint a little bit? Depending on the paint, yeah, it is. But that's okay. With our full details, we never just clay the paint like that and then not do something to at least remove the induced marring. Whatever we induce, we're going to remove. So if that's the case with you, if you see that you're inducing some sort of light marring, it's going to be from the clay mitt or clay bar, not necessarily from towel drying or anything like that. That's going to happen over time anyway. There's nothing you can do to really stop that. It's going to happen. As gentle and as soft as the towels that you have, if you're dealing with soft, finicky paint, it's going to mar up over time from washing and contacting, the paint, drying it. So that's just inevitable. But when you are using the clay mitt or clay bar, that is going to, like I mentioned, leave a little bit of clay marring. I do see a little, actually, I think this paint's pretty hard. I don't really see clay marring from the clay mitt. I do see a lot of swirls, but I don't see the typical pattern of the clay mitt on the paint. So you have different options. You can foam it, rinse it off, do that whole pre-wash. That's just a different method of pre-washing. It's not the detailing rule that you have to do that. A lot of guys get away with not even foaming the car at all. They just pre-wash it and then just wash it with the regular 2-bucket method. So there's different methods. If they've been doing it for a long time that way and it works and they're getting the results at the end, that's what counts. We are trying to cut down or shave the time for the washing so that we can get to the polishing or the protecting stage. The washing part is important, but you can dial in a method that is relatively safe and yet still fast and efficient without ruining the paint. No, I'm not going to use a brush on this or anything that harsh. No, obviously. There are some definite, things that you don't want to do. We're not going to wash the car with, really stiff brushes. I mean, obviously. You have to use reasonableness and understand that, if you're going to be using soft mitts and things like that, that's the best that you can do. So we're not going to take 2 hours to wash and prep a vehicle. That's just not going to work. We're not going to be able to charge that much in this demographic for doing a 2-hour wash and prep and all of that. That just doesn't fly. We lose money that way. So all of this, doing this alone, you notice my wife isn't helping me. That's just because it's Sunday afternoon and the car came in early and I'm just taking some time to enjoy this process. But even with filming, it's about an hour. Not bad. So that's how long it should take. Now, of course, I didn't do any de-ironing or tar removal or anything like that because the paint just doesn't need it. First of all, you can't see it. And are you really worried about something that you can't see even though the paint is smooth? Come on, gotta be reasonable here. So paint is now pretty much dry. I'm gonna blow dry it and then pull it into the garage. So she's pulled in and right away under the lights, you can see the hologramming. Oh yeah, that's really bad. So that will definitely have to come out. That is not going to remain. If it's hologrammed like that, with our paint enhancement service, we are going to remove that. Usually hologramming like that is not so deep into the paint. That's usually pretty light. That's like swirls, light swirls that can be reduced or really removed with even just a medium polish. But there's the rest of the paint. Pretty bad. Very hazy, no clarity, lots of swirls. Yeah, so that's what we're going to be reducing. About 50% or more. Not paint correction, paint enhancement. That's what the owner wants. He's selling it, so we give them what they want. Don't go full paint correction if the customer is not needing it or paying for it. I know, as detailers want to give the best. We want to go 110% correction. And I know that's exaggerating. 110% would probably mean burning right through the paint. That's not what we want to do. I am all about paint preservation. You know, a lot of, there's quite a few detailers out there. Like I had mentioned, Larry Coseller from Ammo. He's all about protecting your ride, making it look good, but enjoying it also. Drive it, enjoy it. Don't be afraid to get some marks on it. Vehicles like this are going to churn up the paint. All of this back here, there, on the fenders, in the front, it's going to get chewed up. It's going to get road rash. It's going to happen. This is a fun car to drive. Why drive it like a granny? It's a Corvette. Drive it. Enjoy it. Don't nitpick. Don't worry about the wear and tear on a vehicle. Make it look as good as it reasonably can be, and just enjoy it. That's really what I'm about as well. And the story behind it is also very cool. There's not really a story behind this one, but stay tuned to the channel. We may be having some very cool things happening with some stories behind it as well. So, oh yeah, got some weird finger smudges or lines or something going on there. We're gonna dial in the process tomorrow, pick some compounds. Compounds are in there, and we'll see what we can do. We're not gonna do compounds. We're gonna find some sort of a medium polish or all-in-one to get this thing looking good. That's my friend, he just drove up. He's super rich, so he can afford awesome cars like this.
Yeah, I wish.
What's up, Sam?
How's it going?
It's polishing time, so we are testing out a few things here, and I want to show you guys something that I get suggestions about, but they don't realize that we have experience when using microfiber discs, microfiber pads with a one-step solution. So here's what we did. We're using the orange Lake Country pad with one and done compound. Now, you see this, I'll talk about that in a moment. I did some section passes over here, and results are coming out great. That's with the orange pad, a couple of passes. Now, the paint used to look like this. Now, it clears up to that. That's what we're shooting for. Paint enhancement, not correction. We're not gonna go any further. We're not gonna try to get out all these other little scratches, because that's not what the customer is paying for. Now you may say to yourself, why not just use a Eurofiber? That can cut and finish well, right? Some paints it does. I did a test spot right here. Now, you can see in the light that it's hazy. Did it get out those deeper defects? Yeah, it did. There's a few there. But it got a little bit more out than usual. That's just with a few light passes. That's not going too heavy on pressure or going too slow either. But now watch as I go over here. See how that clears up? The hazing goes away, but some of the deeper defects remain. So yes, removing deeper defects, they show up here. But look at the clarity. Hazy, and the clarity is back. Now, some say, oh, you have to slow down the machine and engage the polishing fingers on the pads. Yeah, I've done that. I've done that so many times on different paints. Doesn't always work on black paint. You're gonna see that hazing. So now I have to go back over it with the one and done compound and polish with the orange pad to refine and get that haze out. Now, what has that turned into? A two-step. So I'm not going to do that. I don't need to use a pad like this on a paint enhancement on black paint when it leaves that type of haze. It's now slowing me down, and I don't need to remove that much as far as defects. I just don't need to. This is what I'm shooting for. That's what it looked like before. Now it looks like that. Some deeper defects remain, but that's okay. Paint enhancements are different than paint corrections. We're not shooting for perfection here, and even if I was doing a full paint correction, you'll see in a moment, I'm gonna refine this with the orange pad, and then we'll look at it again, and you'll see it clears it up. It looks great. And the one and done compound can be used as a finishing polish also. So let's do that. And also on black finicky paints, it's leaving just a little bit of residue. You can hit that with water and just a separate towel, or even just a damp towel, and it'll help with the residue. I don't always get that, so sometimes you just have to clean out the pad. Now we have clarity. And we go over here, it looks great. Go over here, it looks even better. And that's going into paint correction mode. You know, I could go a little bit deeper and get out some more defects, but do you see now the difference between cutting it with the Eurofiber cutting disc here, which this can cut and finish sometimes, depends on the paint. Black, you know, black finicky soft paint, not so much. You're gonna need to do 2 steps. So if you want to do paint enhancements with this on black paint, hey, get over here. That's what you're gonna have to deal with, is it's going to leave hazing like that. So not gonna be turning this into a 2-step. I am not going to use that pad just for the sake of getting out more defects, because some people don't truly understand that we're doing enhancement, not full swirl removal. That's the difference. I had to clear that up so that people can see it on camera as well. We've done this plenty of times to many different vehicles. We've seen that haze and we're like, nope, we're gonna stick with the orange pad and go with these results instead of trying to go perfect and get everything out. Yeah, it looks better, great, but we're not gonna do that. We're not going to give the customer something that they're not paying for and go overboard. Too much time wasted using more product, more pads. No, keep things within reason. We're going to use that orange pad, one and done. Now, if we do need to do a couple of hits, like maybe 2, just to focus on a few other little deeper scratches to remove them, we're still just using 1 liquid, 1 pad, but we may just hit it twice, and that's it. If it doesn't come out the second time, we leave it, we move on, we say, nope, paint enhancement, move on, we're not gonna go crazy. The paint is going to look so much better. So let's focus on this section here. We're gonna get half this hood done, and then we'll show unfinished, finished. So look at it now. We're going to show you before and after, kind of a 50-50, kind of down the middle here. You can already see how clear the paint looks. I'm going to stop pointing because the camera defocuses. But you can see the clarity already. Half the hood has been polished. That's untouched. That's polished. It took out holograms. So there you can see really bad holograms, and now nice and clear. And also to keep in mind, look at the befores. Remember what this thing looked like before. See, really bad. That's what the owner remembers. That's what he saw, and now the whole car is going to look like this. So 50% or so improvement. Huge, huge improvement. I mean, really, visually, when the owner sees it, yeah, that's what we're going for. Awesome. Let's get to polishing this thing. I'm gonna get it done for today. The polishing is now done. Look how nice it looks. Oh my gosh, the clarity. There's some areas that we had to go a little extra just because they were so bad. This area back here was really bad. The sides, the doors, we had to hit a few times to get them to where we want. But man, it's looking really, really nice. Now we took down the top, of course, to get to these painted areas. So they're all polished. And now we're just hitting all of the rubber trim here before we put the top back up, which we're going to do the interior first really quick, and then we'll put the top back up. That way we can get around it easier. But we're using DP's VLP coating. So this is a rubber or a vinyl, leather, and plastic coating. And that will coat all the rubbers here nicely, keeping them nice and fresh. Yep, you can see right there the line. That'll look really, really nice. And we'll use that for all the interior as well. Just because it's such an easy application, just spray it on, wipe it in. Any residual, just remove with a fresh towel and you're good to go. Same with all this stuff with the convertible top lays. You want all of this rubber nice and fresh. You don't want it to dry out. For protection, nothing new, nothing, you know, extraordinary, just the last coat. I'm going to use the last coat here, and then I'm going to top it with AMP. And this is what I've heard. If you're going to use the last product coatings or, you know, protectants, if you use black ice, you can actually use all three of these in conjunction. You can put black ice and then, I don't know, some guys say wait an hour and then you can apply the last coat, wait another hour, you can apply AMP. I'm just going to apply these right after the other just because of timing issues. And I just want them to stack on each other, bond, and create amazing gloss. I mean, oh my gosh, look at the gloss already though. That is incredible. What an amazing turnover. Beautiful. This thing is looking awesome. So it does have these little metallic, you know, accent pieces and the little scoop here in the front as well. It's looking really, really nice. All right, so let's do this. Let's get the interior dialed in. You want to do the interior first? Let's do this. Let's get the protection on first because we want it on these pieces before we put the top back up. So that's what we'll do. I mean, it doesn't matter. We can either do interior first or protection first. Doesn't matter. It's our choice. All right, let's go with protection. We're going to apply the last coat. So we're just going to use a towel, basically spray it on, wipe it in, and then I have a fresh towel here to wipe away any residual. Whoa, that's slick stuff. Yeah, if it does end up smearing a little bit because of, sometimes it's just the paint. It can just be a little finicky. Don't worry though, it does flash away.
What happens when you buff it?
There we go. See, there's a little residue there, but it will flash away eventually. See right there in the lights. Sometimes you get products that do that, looking really nice. There's a little residue there, but that's okay. Let it sit, you know, let it sit after you wipe it. Then you can go back around and get a fresh towel, and if you need to wipe it down again, you can do that. Or use a little bit of AMP. AMP is more like a quick detailer, and that helps with any residual residue. The Vette is done. We just finished doing some of the final touches. Glass inside and out. We vacuumed the top here so it looks really nice, get all the lint off. And the paint is looking awesome. So we have some partial sun here, but you get the idea. Beautiful. Man, it turned out so nice. Oh, look at that little smear right there. The reflection, the gloss, the slickness is awesome. The back area here was really bad, and that just looks so nice now. So that's going to do it for the video. Everything is done. It is looking beautiful, and hope you guys enjoyed it. If you have any questions or comments, let me know down below. And any of the products that we used on it, we'll put links down below if you're interested in grabbing any of those for yourself. So once again, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and click that bell so you don't miss stuff. And we'll see you guys in the next one. Have a great week. Take care. Fat Moshi. Hi. Hi.